Okay, this is figure number 51, the trapeze spinner, and we're going to assemble this piece. I've pre-assembled one part of the trapeze, and this is the second leg. Just to show you how this works. As usual, pre-fold your scores, get most of your scores nice and folded, so they're nice, good and soft. And this piece will go together like this. Okay, see what's happening there? Glue that right along parallel to the cut there. Okay, get some, hold that in place, get that piece glued nicely. Step number 2. All right, we'll let that dry a minute and I'll show you. Let that piece dry. What happens is when this piece is fully assembled, it closes down and collapses like this. Okay, so and you see there's two little angle folds here that tuck in the opposite direction, so that when it folds, this little bit of paper down here, I added so you had enough strength to support the dowel, which will go through like this. All right. So the first step is, the next step is to actually assemble it into the page. You have little die cuts right there. You have a die cut on this side too. You have a die cut over here and a die cut over here. So this piece spans the center fold, making an A-frame or making a tent, basic tent fold. Glue. That one in place. There's the first one. Okay, this piece should be nice and dry by now. Once again, see how that folds down nice and flat? And once you get inside, you want, there's these little angle folds, you want to push those in the opposite direction. They're small, but they're there for support, so they're important. Sometimes I use a tool to push a small fold in the opposite direction. There we go. It's a little bit tricky here. There, you can see those angle folds go in the opposite direction of this fold. This fold's going down, this fold's coming up. And make sure these, the two little die cuts are, the die cut holes are punched out. Put your piece in. Small amount of glue there. Small amount of glue here. Okay. And there's the basic tent fold structure that makes the trapeze. Okay, so we'll start with this. Next, we're going to work on the dowel. So they have two little pieces of paper, and I'm putting these in place basically to keep the dowel in place. So a little bit of glue. On that, and I'm just going to wrap the end of the dowel. Glue it and hold it in place for just a minute. Let the glue stick a little bit and then roll it. There you go. And you want to make sure that that piece of paper is right at the very end of the dowel. Okay, so you leave enough room for the dowel to rotate through the two ankle fold strap, or the two tent fold straps here. Okay, so you see I've just inserted it through, and you might want to make sure that when you push this through, there, come on, there it is. I'll spin it a few times because sometimes the paper is a little bit tight, and when you spin it, you're going to expand the little die cut holes and make sure that dowel moves freely. And then finally, for the dowel, another end cap. Okay, a little bit of glue on that. And then just hold it on the end dowel for a minute at the end of the dowel here. Glue it in place, let the glue set into the bamboo. I use a bamboo dowel here. And now I'm slowly rotating this. There we go. And that will be the locking piece that keeps the dowel in place. And while the glue's still wet, you can adjust it so that it's right at the very end of the dowel. Okay, there. Get a nice squeeze, make sure it stays where it's supposed to stay. And there we are. You have the dowel in place with the two pieces of locking paper. All right, the next step, now I found that the piece of blue string that we had included was a little bit short. I did some measuring. So I've cut a longer piece. And this is a nice little piece of baker's twine. So you can use any kind of string. I like to use a relatively thick piece of string here, usually cotton, so that the cotton bites well onto the wooden dowel. Okay, so I'm going to go through the bottom. This is the die cut that is closest to the gutter. Going through the bottom right here with my string. All the way to the very end. And here we have two little locking devices that will help keep the string tight while you're gluing. They just slot in like that. Add a little bit of glue and make sure you get some glue on the string. Okay. Now go ahead and pull the string from the front side to the back. Oops, glue on the wrong side. Anyway, yeah, you want to make sure you glue the string to the paper with the protective piece here, or the locking device on top. That in place for a minute. Some nice gluing there. Okay. Now the string's coming through the page, and we're going to go up and wrap it around the bamboo dowel twice. I think 2 times is good. You could do 2 or 3 times, but I'm just going to do 2. 2's good right there. That should give it enough string to make a bite on the dowel. The next step is to push the needle and the string through again. And notice that the needle that I use here is a large upholstery needle. It has a nice big eye here, so you can push put heavy-duty string through it. All right. Now, one of the important steps here is to get the tension on this string right. So I'm going to wrap the locking piece here, and with a pair of scissors, I'll go ahead and trim the string. I gave myself plenty of extra string. And what you want here is you want the string to be tight when the page is open to 180 degrees. Okay, you want that string to be tight right there. I'll even put my finger on the outside, hold it here. I can wrap this around one more time and then put some glue on it. Once again, remember to glue the string as well as the paper. Okay, so these locking devices allow you to move it. It doesn't necessarily have to sit on top of the hole. You can move it to adjust the tension. So like I said, right there. So it's tight when the page is open to 180 degrees. And that should get your string, your dowel rotating properly. I think it's there. Okay, see what I just did there? My needle fell off. I had a needle on this string, but there's a hole right here, and you want to put a piece of thread through the hole on this piece. This is the piece that attaches to the rotating or to the dowel. You want to let a piece hang out from the black section there. Put a little bit of glue on here, and once again, you want to make sure you have glue on the thread and on the paper. Maybe you want to put a little bit over here too. And I'm going to glue this piece onto the dowel somewhere in the center. Right about there. And about halfway through the blue and black piece too. So glue it right here like this. Hold that nice and tight. So you see I have a piece of thread coming out this end and a piece of thread coming out this end. And I'm just going to let that glue nice and tight. Now the last two steps, you have a green piece and a yellow piece here. And these are just little pieces that hang on the thread so that when it spins, it accentuates the movement. That's the goal here. Nice little piece there. Get that glued in place. Next, the yellow piece. Okay, and this is just an eyeball measurement. You can place these pieces anywhere on the string. Not anywhere, but it's not an accurate measurement that's required here. Just far enough away so that when it spins, it doesn't actually touch the base page. And finally going to trim. Now let's see if this spins. There we go. There's some spinning. You'll find that that maybe another wrap around here would help a little bit, so that there's 1, 2, 3 rotations of string around the wooden dowel. That would make it spin tighter. And once again, the tension of that string is what's important. There we go. All right, and finish it off with a little bit of glue on to wrap the cover piece on, and you're set. There you go. Trapeze spinner.